Hello everybody, it's Leela.
And Beau.
And welcome back to my channel.
Yeah.
To episode 11 of Boys Planet.
And it's 2:11. Oh my gosh, it must be a sign.
Of what?
Nothing.
Park Hanbin rank 11.
Who's Park Hanbin? Oh yeah. The
At
real
this point,
Hanbin.
the fact that you still ask who certain people are, I don't know what I'm supposed to do
Park
with you.
Hanbin is the, you know how...
I don't know what to do with you.
There's a
Anyway.
multiverse. He's the multiverse, Hanbin's multiverse one,
Okay.
who will eventually take over his position in top.
If you're listening to this, if you've been enjoying our recaps, thank you for doing that. I think that's awesome that people like spend any amount of time listening to us like ramble to each other and talk over each other, which I know is annoying.
That's what a podcast is. But
thank you for doing that. Please give the channel a subscribe. Because while Boys Planet is coming to an end, we will be back here on my channel for Queendom Puzzle.
Wasn't there another one too, though? Besides,
we're not watching Fantasy Boys.
Yeah, we're
not in the mood.
We're cooling off of peak time because we lost 3 of the best.
Well, we weren't doing recaps for peak time anyway.
No, but I'm just saying.
But we'll be back here for Queendom Puzzle, so it shouldn't be too long. But I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
Okay.
Drama!
Shall we begin?
Yeah.
So we'll start off how this is gonna go today. We're gonna talk about everything that happened in the episode that wasn't to do with eliminations and ranking. We'll talk about eliminations and ranking. And then we're gonna give our ideal top 9s. Final top 9s.
With the cat meowing, that's good.
and that's what we're gonna do today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
It's hard to like have the fun stuff in an episode where it's so sad because like so many people that you like are going home.
I mean, that's kind of K-pop for you, though. It's very weird like that.
Like this whole episode, to be honest with everybody, I watched the variety content at the front. I fast forwarded through the eliminations except for Woongi's speech, and then like watched some of the stuff with the new songs at the end.
Yeah,
I just can't.
At this point, a lot of people are kind of tuning out. A lot of people by this point are tuning out some stuff that's not necessarily relevant to their person, which is fine.
Yeah.
Because it just starts to feel a little long in the tooth at this point. You're getting a little bit like this fun stuff. Put it earlier in the show.
It should have happened much earlier.
I mean, granted, there's more people. It's harder to do and stuff. That's why these shows should start off probably with half as many people.
The variety content that they did make for this episode was really good. The little camping thing, and they picked the animal costumes, and Jay got to actually be funny for once, which was fun. They finally played Shout and Silence, which is a classic. And
a classic, but I'd like to see some new game. Well, they kind of had a new game where they had to dress themselves with the
pants.
Yeah, dress themselves without no hands. That was funny. Of course, Quanry was like able to do it with just his crazy leg. We'll talk about him in a minute, but it was fine. It was you realize that a lot of these kids, young men, are much funnier than the others. Some of them are not funny at all. They're just not. And some play the slapstick more. It's very very classic humor stuff. That's why this stuff works. There was a magic moment between Jay and Woongi doing the rock paper scissors,
and it just kept going.
What was so
forever
great about
and ever and ever and ever.
It was honestly one of those moments. When you watch a long show like this, you have all these little memories that kind of stick with you. I don't know why, and that was one of those magic little moments that I picture them in a group together, and I thought their energy together was amazing, and not only that, but their ability to do variety content, but also, look comfortable doing it. It's not cringy and stuff. You realize how good Woongi is at that stuff. Jay as well, because he is, I think, more uncomfortable speaking sometimes because his Korean's not at like say Matthew's level, and Matthew's not.
I think that they're on the same level. Matthew was asking what words meant during the pajama
but I think
party.
that Jay's.
I think we've been. Don't assume that.
No.
Because I think we've been making assumptions.
I don't speak Korean, but what I'm saying is that I think that he's more comfortable doing something like singing or acting up and being silly and stuff, like throw the gummy bear in my mouth. You don't need, what I'm saying? It translates really well. So I really enjoyed it. But yeah, put it earlier in the show. Before, at least put it all before
like last
the eliminate.
episode.
I know, it was just like
before we about to like literally watch the numbers be chopped in half, and You know, whatever. They have 2 new final songs, Jelly Pop and Hot Summer. Both the songs sounds really good. I really like them a lot. They're gonna be the ones that they perform at the live final episode. There's 2 teams of 9. At this point, like, it's really hard to care about, like, who has the center, who has the killing, who cares?
I don't care.
Who has what song or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. So it's like hard to like pay attention to that because I'm just like, whatever. Do the songs they sound good, whatever.
The songs are good, but they're nothing surprising to me.
But they're not going to give their best songs.
No, you just got to kind of have
throwaway.
a good song, and they're good songs. But you know what I mean. You kind of have to just have a pretty good song to get it. Once they're a group, they can maybe do something
choreography
different,
for Jelly Pop is god awful.
Oh, I hate that.
It is god awful, and then they just look like they're flinging, just wailing around with arms and legs just going everywhere. Like, I don't think I've seen like bad choreography in a while. This was bad, and like they did those killing part videos before they are super practiced in it. So if you watch them, the Jelly Pop ones, they just look like a mess. It's just the best.
Choreographers, K-pop choreographers are like programmers and stuff at my work, where they'll make something, they don't ask people who use it, so it comes out just. Why did you do this? You know what you do to make that choreography? Then take your singer friend, have them dance and try to sing. If you notice in the videos when they watch the choreography, the sample, nobody's singing. Those are dancers.
Obviously,
and it drives me crazy. It's like you're gonna have. This is why we have canned vocals at every show. It has nothing to do with.
It has a little side rant.
I know, but what I'm saying is this stuff frustrates me because there are groups that do pull back on the dancing a little bit. And there's enough vocalists in this group. I hope they don't screw up Tay-Ray because he's flapping his arms around. Let the boys sing. Like, good choreography.
They'll work it out. They'll work it out.
I know, but when I see that stuff, I'm like, okay, so I don't know. It's like it's predicting the future, and that's to me is a bit rough. Good choreography takes the performance in mind, and there's great choreographers on this show and in K-pop, but they don't seem to be working with the singers at all, and that's a bit frustrating.
It's not like that always happens. I'm just saying in this one particular instance, it was
like Over Me was a slower song. The choreography was a little slower. That worked out fine for singing. It was a very vocal song. Say My Name was pretty simple choreography. At least they made it look simple because they're good at dancing. But you know what I'm saying? It didn't interfere with the singing, but it wasn't as heavy of a song on singing. Yeah. So the good songs. I don't want to hear that for the final group. I want to hear something a little different. We'll see what happens. But.
The only things that stood out to me that little butt hurt is that just like Sung Han-min was ranked number 1, so he got to pick whatever he wanted. He could literally pick anything that he wanted, and he chose to steal the main vocal from Jay, and throw Jay into not only the other song, the opposite song from the one he had picked, but into this lowest sub-vocal 6 or something. Yeah. And I understand that's just part of the game and it's nothing personal.
No, I think it's absolutely personal.
I found that to be frustrating because let the man have the main vocal part, you guys. He is the main vocal. He is a main vocal. Let him have it. And I get Hanbin is I want to do something I haven't done before, which is but you know what? He has done it before. Kind of. I don't know. It's just when you're at the top and you get to have whatever you want, wouldn't it have been shown a little bit of humbleness from him to not choose the...
No, I don't even think that was it. I don't think that was it. By the way, I can say what I want about Hanbin, and I'm not saying something personal about Hanbin the person. If anybody listens to this and doesn't understand that, you have.
But yes, you are.
I don't think he's a jerk or something.
Okay.
Jay, that moment there was a perfect representation of my likes and dislikes in K-pop, and they talked about it on the Boys Love Boys Planet. That's what they call that podcast, right? Which is, by the way, an amazing show.
We don't normally listen to other people's before we do ours, so we don't want to be influenced by other opinions.
I like it because it helps work out my opinions because I tend to stammer a lot. But so go listen to them. But what they were saying about Hanbin is true. He's a type of idol who has worked hard to he throws himself in the work. He shows up early. Mm-hmm. He's like the really good office worker who's manager in 3 weeks. He's a very strong worker. He has a good work ethic, quote unquote, which is fine. That is a type of talent because I don't think he has as much natural talent singing as Jay.
Okay.
Okay, with dancing, he's more of a dancer. Right, at least from what I've seen. And I've seen videos outside of Boys Planet. I've seen him do other stuff. But I don't... Anyway, Jay is the type of person who naturally has that natural talent that you can then develop through practice or whatever. But I don't want Jay's singing character to be worked out of him. So, like, you have to sing this way because that's the K-pop sound. This is why, in a way, although I'm voting for Jay, if he doesn't land in the group, I hope he goes solo so he keeps that Jay characteristic to his voice. Mm-hmm. When Hanbin did that to me, I knew there was something feeling a little off about Hanbin lately, and it was because I was noticing that his work ethic was getting in the way of his, A, the thought of how good the team would be, and B, he was starting to feel a little bit like somebody on the Survivor show or something where they're playing a game, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's cool, I understand.
Yeah.
But you're already number one. Now, granted, he could fall. He could be a Urena situation. I doubt it, but we thought that about Urena too. He could completely fall out of the top mm-hmm. 9 or get humbled a bit. I don't know, but I think he's just a good kid who what he knows is how to work really hard, and nothing gets in his way, including the fact that you take one of the strongest singers and you put him in the weakest position. If it showed only one of two things, or both, that he was either afraid of Jay's talent and that he doesn't want Jay in the group, or something like that, or that's his biggest competition, which is cool. That's cool. Or B, he doesn't really care.
Respect Jay.
He doesn't really care.
He doesn't respect Jay.
And it made me feel like when
don't get mad in the comments, everybody.
You can get mad all you want. You can get mad all you want. Adults can have discussions. We're not. Okay. I like Hanbin. Okay. I don't want him. He's a fine person. He seems like a cool idol, but he's a dancer most of all. Nobody can deny it. It reminded me of how he was talking to Matthew. Whereas Ji-woong seems to have a more let's have a talk thing, and mm-hmm. Hanbin seemed to be pulling that. I'm the leader. I'm also Korean, and you're not Korean. Or Matthew, it felt a little bit weird. Like this is our world now, and he was doing a similar thing to Jay. Now this is me reading a lot into bad editing, so I could be completely wrong. I'm sure there's no ill will between any of these guys, but it just gave me a sour feeling. Mm-hmm. That I was like, you're not only moving him, and not only taking out something that will make the song sound better, both songs, but you're moving him intentionally to one line or something. Yeah. And so you would rather have somebody weaker in a position. Why didn't he move him to a decent position? Take his position all you want, but recognize that he's probably one of the best singers of the show, if not the best singer of the show.
But at that point, you can't cascade it around. That was the only position left.
Okay.
So,
but again. Either whatever. Way,
I didn't like
it. I think he might be trying to show that he can sing well in that main position. I think it will show that he has weakness in singing, actually, just like it did in
There's no time to show that. There will be no weakness shown.
Well, this will be shown in the last...
It'll be fine.
Right.
It's going to be live. It's fine.
Then why bother with it? Live. Why not just let him have... why bother then?
It's going to be fine.
You're Hanbin. You're going to get the screen time. You look perfect. Everybody votes for you. Like, I understand, though, there is, and to be fair, he might be playing 4D chess and know that his position, he could be in a tenuous position. He could be a vote repository, But
being a main vocal would make no difference in that.
I don't, it felt to me like...
It just takes away an opportunity for Jay.
Right, it felt like to me, he wasn't thinking big picture. He was just thinking work hard, do the perfect, it was this weird robotic thing.
Anyway, okay.
So that's why I didn't like it.
The other thing on the two final songs that kind of chapped my ass a little bit is that Joonhyun, that we love Joonhyun. We haven't talked about him as much lately because he's kind of on the lower end of the teens. I just don't think that he's got the chance to really fully make it top 9 just because there's just too much competition. But I think he's amazing otherwise. He was going out for leader of his team. First he went to main vocal and then regretted all of his life choices and said, I probably shouldn't be doing this, and then got pushed to the side, which was fine. I think he's panicking a little bit.
I think that might have been a game he was trying to play to get a better position.
I think he's just panicking.
Well, but if he would have taken a sub vocal, he would have got pushed further down. So maybe he kind of...
No, he was just panicking.
He sued for a lot of money knowing he would get a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
And So, and also in the team thing, he was like, I'm going to go for team leader. And they kind of were like, what? And then, like, you know, they didn't vote for him as team
Excuse
leader.
me.
They voted for Hui, which makes sense because, again, this is an original song. You're going to go to the studio and produce it. Like, let him be the leader.
They have producers of the song.
They were kind of like,
you know.
like, you know, like laughing at him for wanting to do something like that. To, like, they don't take him seriously or don't think he has the ability. And two, when he went out for killing part, they all voted amongst each other. And it was a really, like, telling moment for me. One, just because it makes me love Junhyun, and like why one of the reasons that I love him is that they were all raising their hand for who would be the temporary killing part person, and a bunch of people went out for it, and some people voted for Junhyun, and like there was a bit of a snicker and a giggle, like that
could be the editing, but
that
yeah,
he
I
had
saw
gotten
it.
like a couple votes,
Yeah,
or something, and he was like, "What? People can't vote for me?" Like he said it to like Hui, like his senior / older person. That like I'm glad that one, it doesn't come from a place only of like I respect his self-confidence and his like self-respect. Two, he just doesn't have that like filter in his head, so it just comes out. Yeah, and that's not a bad thing in my opinion. He should say that. Why don't you believe in me that I could do the killing part? Why don't you believe in me that I couldn't be the leader? And it's you can answer it by saying it's because you haven't done it before, but at the same time, like,
to be fair, he was kind of doing that Junhyun's jokey face, kind of like a little kid. He kind of was doing when he was asking. So it could have been like it wasn't he was joking around, but that he was kind of. It's hard to tell with him.
Every joke has a little bit of truth in it.
Of course.
Every joke has a little bit of truth.
I agree. What I disliked about it is you don't need a producer in We. This song, he didn't write this song.
Whatever.
There's producers and stuff. All he is he's a contestant. He himself has said that. But it was the way they. Now, granted, this is what we're seeing, the editing. Mm-hmm. I don't think Wee's a bad guy or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But I do think that maybe because of the hierarchy stuff.
It wasn't the wrong choice to vote Wee as the leader.
It was just it's fine. This wasn't unexpected. It's the last song, guys. Try something different. But anyway, the way that I think Wee was kind of like giggling at him. But then I thought, okay, what if Gyuvin had asked that? Gyuvin's probably
would he have laughed?
No, he would probably be like, no, I don't think he probably would have. You know, Now granted, it was Junhyun's delivery a little bit. He was being a bit silly and stuff, I think, but that's just his nature. But I thought, okay, we'll talk about Woongi and stuff like that, but it reminds me of Woongi and people like that who are kind of outliers in the societal order. He's a little bit different, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody has a great time with him until he asks a favor. They're like, nah, you're just a joker, right? You're not really here.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it in the group, right? I'm Wee, and this is Gyuvin, and we're all going to make. You're not really. We know that, right?
No. That hurts, man. It's true though. There was an air in the room.
No, I'm not saying he would have said it facetiously, but or he ever meant that. I think everybody again is a nice person, and they all have good feelings to each other. Mm-hmm. But I think we could have looked at the camera and be like, Johan, you know that you're not making this group. That this is.
Don't say that.
And everybody been like, oh yeah, you're right, you're right. So I won't even bother. That's why he was like, why can't I even be voted on if the translations are correct and stuff? It's because he's starting to feel, why can't I get first place?
Right.
I do everything. I'm not saying.
Why can't he?
Well, I'm not saying.
Why can't he?
There's a lot of people. You can't vote for everybody. But the point is he's been carrying the show. Like Woongi was carrying the show. Mm-hmm. He was in all the clips. He's personality. But they're slowly chipping that away. So I'm a little nervous about the end. But other than that, I think he Joohyun might be playing a bit of 4D chess, like I was saying, where he knows he's getting a lot of screen time, and each screen time just equals votes.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid if he goofs it up too much, like plays too goofy.
Well, it's over now.
Right, but
it's over.
Maybe that's what hurt
All
him.
that's left is one live episode.
I wish he would have got one good vocal song.
They had the Pajama Party live stream. I didn't watch all of it because it hasn't been uploaded with subtitles. It was live.
Are they going to do it with subs?
Not officially. I think there's some fans that have been uploading it on their own channels and subbing it in parts. So maybe I'll go back and try and find those and watch it.
It's hard
to
sub that. There's a lot of going on.
The one I watched yesterday only had like partial, so I kind of just skipped through it.
I love the Pajama Party stuff.
The important part, one they did the dance for Over Me and To Say My Name with different people. Ricky doing Cute Song, doing Say My Name.
Oh, does he do that?
And Gunwook. It took me out, you guys. It took me out. I love them both. Like I was done for the two of them. And then they did that Over Me with like Matthew and stuff. But we've seen Matthew and Jiwoong do that. But Jiwoong like
I didn't watch
Slade.
any of those. I
Oh my
heard
God,
the main
he was
vocal
good.
thing though.
And then they had the main vocals together.
I was wondering who that was.
Which another thing someone had mentioned in the comments that had watched it was that Junhyun made a side comment as well. Why am I not up there with the main vocalists? So I think he's just
But at
again
the
he
same time,
can't hold it in.
Right, but again, he didn't go out for maybe it's just how the dice fell, I guess, for him. But I don't remember him intentionally trying to go out for vocal songs.
We never saw it.
And
but,
he is a good vocalist, but there's a lot of good vocalists.
So it was Hui, Tae-rae, Jae, and Sungwon, which I'm like, take those for him. But then, I just want like a vocal group singing "Man in Love," and oh my God, you guys!
Yeah, that was good, very good.
We talked about how much I love that song. We talked about how much I love Tae-rae doing that song. I just like they sound insane. Like insane, so good.
Well, and that's casually hanging out.
And Jay, on top of it, Jay like sounding good, but also forgetting the words midway through, which is just like comedy gold. And he's such a like meme that he's just like the panic in his eyes as he was forgetting words because again, this was just for fun. They weren't like practicing ahead of time.
No.
But Sungwon sounded amazing, just like popping off on live. Jay sounded amazing. Tae-rae, oh my God, you guys!
I think Sungwon for me is a bit. His vocal tone is a bit nasally for my taste, but
it's very K-pop.
He worked well with he worked
pretty.
well with these three. He's like he's going to be like we in a few years where it has that nasaliness kind of. Like, but Tae-rae definitely has one of the prettiest voices, and Jay's is a more sexy voice or R&B.
Just the two of them together. So. You guys, please, God, Jesus.
It's not gonna happen, but it might. But I like this stuff. I like this stuff because it's casual and fun. But the only problem every time you see this come out is there's not gonna be subs, and it makes me regret not knowing to speak more than 3 words of Korean or whatever. And it's like, oh man, because there's little funny moments. Yeah. They did the Girls Planet one. Somebody edited all of it really well, if I remember correctly. Translated it well, where you could tell who was.
Someone
speaking.
will eventually,
and it was really fun to see all that stuff.
And the final thing, I don't want to spend very much time on it, but I did want to address the elephant in the room. There's like a bunch of controversy going on right now with Mnet, air quotes, being accused of like rigging, not actual votes for like the rankings, but little competitions that they've done for like that were
view counts and stuff
done by view count / likes because they hide the likes so you can't see them. I think.
Oh, that's right.
I forget the
ratio.
It's not called an idiom. It's called like a statement is that like never attribute to malice what you can attribute to stupidity is like how I tend to go through these things.
Okay, so is the controversy that they're rigging it in a positive way for Matthew?
Only for Matthew, yeah.
Okay, so they just got done doing a negative edit, and now they're doing a positive edit?
So
on the view count?
The accusation is that they've behind the scenes made Matthew win a previous fan cam thing / vote like thing that they rigged it for him or whatever, which is just to me feels asinine. Like they don't need to rig it. They just have to show us what they want to show us and tell us the stories they want to tell us.
And it works.
They made me love Matthew in episode 1 when they showed me Matthew. If they wanted me to vote for Matthew, they did what they needed to do to get me to like Matthew. You know what I mean? They didn't need to rig it. This is just my opinion. It could come out that they were, but I think that would be really freaking ridiculous if they did. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then this killing part thing is being decided for the last song by the views and the likes.
Who cares?
And when you stream a video a lot, like the views get frozen or whatever. And so they had to put on notice. They cut off the thing earlier.
That's a YouTube policy, by the way. Yeah. It's not an Mnet policy.
So people are saying that they were doing that to rig it in favor of Matthew instead of Jong Hao on the killing part thing. Look, like...
Dude, I have zero...
This seems like very targeted towards Matthew. I don't see why that would be necessary for Mnet to go through that much effort for Matthew. All they have to do is just show us Matthew all the time being amazing, and he'll get into the group, you know what I mean?
But that's what they've done.
But instead of that, they showed us Matthew for like 2.5, almost 3 solid weeks being...
questionable,
difficult to work with, complaining, crybaby. So are they rigging him in, or are they rigging him out? Like, it just feels all a bit iffy to me.
I mean, people forget Mnet has.
Mnet
has 20 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
20 million. If they wanted to rig anything for view count, likes, they simply feature it on the YouTube page. They can put it at the top of a playlist, and just the bots alone will make it go. Not even bots, K-pop bots, just bots scraping content.
And like,
so I go ahead.
Matthew's from like some Nugu label. I don't think that like, well, it's the label that Chung is on, but she's leaving it because the label's so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's. I just don't think it was a big conspiracy theory. I think that they got in too much trouble. I just think that, like, I don't know. And I don't care.
I think the difference, the thing is with Matthew is he's a pretty good singer.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good dancer.
Yeah.
It's all visual, really, with Matthew, just like with I think with Eugene and stuff, mostly. But he's got a personality, a flavor they've never seen before. I'm sure it's adorable when he tries to. If
he
say
just
words
debuted
badly.
in a group and it wasn't from a survival show, Matthew would come out and people would be like, in love with this kid.
Right, but Ji-woon here,
he's money.
What I'm saying is Ji-woon here is the same thing. He's about the same level.
Well, okay, we're not...
I'm saying that there's a difference. Matthew's not Korean fully or whatever, right? And I think that people just... they need a target, and if Mnet gives them a target, even some of they liked before, and that target is getting in the way of one of their faves, they think, like a Eugene or something, they will assassinate him somehow. So I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Mnet rigs these in every way they possibly can, other than illegal ways, because they got their eyes on them. But I guarantee they're rigging it in some other social way.
They don't need to rig. It's called editing.
Sure, exactly.
Pretend
but they're doing more than that as well.
They've spent more time pretending that Jay doesn't exist. They don't show his face when he was singing in Over Me. They did the same thing on the M Countdown stage. I watched it.
Oh, you watched it.
Every time he opened his mouth, they were focusing on someone else. They don't need to rig things. They just do shit like that.
Right, because...
And then, like, who is Jay? Who was singing that? Like, if you aren't already a fan of his... Like, what's there to take from it?
That's
you know what I mean?
because they know two things.
If they loved Jay for some reason, imagine opposite world where Jay was the favorite.
If he was Korean with that voice.
Right. Yeah. Like, if he looked a little bit differently, was a little taller, was Korean ethnically.
If he looked like Ji-woon and that way.
Imagine the storyline that they would have about what an amazing singer he is. Here's him in the booth with all the compliments. Yeah. Here's like him
the number one
focusing on him during all of his high notes and stuff. Yeah. But instead they showed Over Me, and the only comments we got from the masters were them teasing him about his dance move. Like, they don't have to rig. They do crap like that, everybody.
But I'm saying...
It's aggravating.
I'm saying, though, I guarantee it, they're doing other stuff behind the scenes. I guarantee it. That is legal. But what I'm saying is they know two things, that teen audiences stuff will follow the rigging, the editing, and that other voters like us won't vote for somebody that we haven't seen, i.e. screen time.
You can't vote for someone you haven't seen.
Right.
But anyway, so the top 9 is thus right now at eliminations and everything.
Oh, this is the top 9 on the left?
Okay. And then the rest are on the right. The 18th slot was between Camden, Hiroto, and Wang Jihao. Camden got it. Camden's been rising a little bit because I think he's getting popularity from like a little bit of his like memes about his like lack of expressions, and then his cute twin brother, and then stuff like that. Not his dad fighting with people on Twitter. He needs to stop.
It's not.
And then Jung Hyun got bumped up pretty far because of the bonus points from Over Me team winning. So that's that. Ricky, top 9, love to see it. He was so cute. His little acceptance speech about how he wanted to sit on the soft chair, and he went up and he said it was so soft. Dude, adorable. Yeah. Ricky, I love you, man. Like, there's just too many people that I love that like,
Ricky, I haven't seen much as far as like abilities from him. I think
he's good.
I'm not saying he doesn't have abilities. I'm just saying.
You said you haven't seen much as far as abilities. What is that supposed to mean?
Show me the notes, the amazing dance breaks, the rapping. What are we talking about? He doesn't. He's sang really well in Over I'm not
Me.
saying he's sang poorly, but there's every one of the top 18, every one of the last probably 30 contestants can sing well and can dance well and can rap. Takato, no, but I'm just saying that what is interesting about Ricky, and the reason I support people who I haven't even seen a lot from talent-wise as much as other people, is because there's something different there that I could see a really cool future with. That, so the top 9 as it is right now is interesting. I'd rather see 4 or even 5 G group. I think we'll probably
This is 4.
Is it 4? That's good. I do wonder, seeing all this, I in my heart, I think that this is actually going to change a lot.
I think so.
But the question is it might change a lot in order, but will some of these actually drop out of the top 9? I think it's possible, but we'd have to ask who would move up. I think Park Hanbin will move up. Gungwook will move up. Jay will move up. Sungwoo, no.
So and again, back to the rigging thing. Like, they don't need to literally rig things. They do things like they did where they showed us that interim ranking where Ricky and Kato were in the top 9, and Gyuvin and all these other G group members were hanging on the edge of elimination, and people panic voted Gyuvin back up to rank number 7 from rank 16. Yeah. Like, they don't need to rig. They just do things like that.
To be fair to Mnet,
but they propelled Gyuvin back up to rank 7.
Doesn't mean he's going to stay there.
Like, he might have been much lower if people didn't know.
But to be fair to Mnet, if you see somebody as popular as, let's say, a Eugen or a Gyuvin, right? And then they drop in popularity, you're seeing potential dollar drops. So they're like, let's just get this guy back up here. He was, but at the same time, they're seeing that with Ricky.
He is money. I'm not going to lie.
You're seeing that with Ricky as well. In that kind of like, people would buy his photo card, that kind of popularity. And there's a few of them like that. Kata, not so much. Kata's just being carried by international votes. But there's certain ones like Eugen. They want him in there, so I don't really blame them for thinking of their bottom dollar. I think it's cruel, but that is entertainment for you. Like I said, though, we'll talk about our predictions or whatever, but
we don't have really. I didn't make a slide for predictions for what's going to happen.
Or top 9, I mean.
We made slides for what we want our top 9 to be.
Okay, so for this right now, next week this is where the elimination is going to come from. This will be the group, right? My thing I wanted to ask you, and I was thinking about, is what is the thing that would happen that would be shocking? That the most
Matthew out of top 9.
Well, that's out of the group. So let's just say out of the group. Matthew not making it. I was saying the same thing.
Oh my God! Gut punch everybody. I'm gonna be wailing. You don't even understand.
The opposite to me would be
Ricky actually making it for real.
Ricky or Jay
would be
amazing.
Amazing.
I think would be
Jay making it.
Right.
Oh my God! Y'all.
I think was not going to make it.
So.
I think he understands it. He's like, hey man, I wanted to get a little boost. That's fine. He could produce all their album and make $1 million. So there's little things like that I've tried to think of, shocking situations that could happen, like what happens in Girls Planet and other shows where stuff can switch around. But as you'll see from my top 9, it has none of these people in it. I don't think we're going to see much difference here. I think you got 1 or 2 people, maybe 3. So
it's that rank 9 that's going to be the bloodbath. 8 and 9 are going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, I think Hanbin, number 1, Hanbin is going to stay. Zhang Hao is going to stay.
Jiwoong stay.
Jiwoong stay, and
Taeray rank number 1, hot take.
No, I think I possibly, but I think
rank number 1, hot take. He's like Kim Chae-hyun. They love him, and I don't think he's a vote dump.
I think either
Hanbin
way.
and Zhang Hao, I think, are a slightly like, you have your real one pick, Ricky. And then you safely pick Zhang Hao and Tan.
Of course, so they might, but I think they'll still make it, because I don't care what rank. If we're talking about who's going to make it in the group, Eugen, I think, might drop a bit, but will make it in the group. Kata will not make it.
No, don't say that.
I'm not saying it's.
I'm voting every day.
Gyuvin will make it, and I think that you might have. I think you're going to have Park Hanbin take over Ricky's spot or Matthew's spot, and Gungwook. So you're going to end up with 1 possibly G group member, and that would be Zhang Hao. Which should be, the craziness about that?
If it's 2, if it's 1, it's probably Zhang Hao. If it's 2, it's Zhang Hao and Kata.
Or Zhang Hao and Ricky. Or
3, I think 2 is like a reasonable scenario. 3 is best case scenario. I don't think we're getting 4.
I think if you got 4, everybody be happy. All the rigging, all that stuff, like I said before. I think, but it'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of.
Let's look at the numbers from another perspective. This was made by a user on Reddit who's good at spreadsheets. Thank you.
These people amaze me.
The interesting things that I wanted to point out is that Kata is my boy. He is ranked number 1 in international votes and number 17 in Korean votes, which makes him number 6 together.
Overall. So,
like that difference has me shooketh.
Okay, but what does that tell you? How much voting
we are deadlifting him into this team. I am like deadlifting.
How much more weight a single Korean vote carries? And not only that, you could have 2 Korean people, literally 2 people vote in Korea, and it carries as much weight as millions of people outside of the world.
Not millions.
They still decide.
Dozens.
They're still the pool.
I know.
It doesn't matter how many Koreans show up.
Yeah, I know.
It's still the pool. So anything else weird in there? Like, Matthew's pretty even, right?
Another interesting one is Tae-rae is number 2 in Korean vote and number 11 in international vote.
So again, this is what I'm saying.
So he could, if people are safe picking Jong or Hanbin, we could have a number 1 Tae-rae. We could get a Tae-rae ballad on this album, everyone.
No, that would be cool.
Oh my god.
That'd be cool. I like Tae-rae.
Oh my god, it could be amazing.
I'm just the weird thing is, as much as I
and Guvin is 10 in actual votes overall.
What's his rank what's his Guvin in Korea?
3.
He's
Kind of
making
low.
it. He's not
That was panic voting though.
Doesn't matter. He's still got 6 spots and he's safe. He's in. He's got to be in.
Jong Hao, yeah.
See, Jung Hao though, remember he's not only not from a different country. He's from,
But yeah,
it's
so
gonna cause
issues. It's just I don't know. It's stressful. It's a lot. Everybody. Jay is down here at 18th in Korean votes and 4th in international votes. So keep voting for Jay. Everybody, come on.
Let's say it this way:
we could deadlift him into the
What
team.
happens with these shows is everybody, when you're doing the 3 people and stuff like that, it's kind of like that voting for some minor bill on your city's thing or whatever. But when you're getting down to 1 pick, you do have to vote with a conscience. If you want to see something different, you have to vote for something different. If you want the same old stuff, you vote for the same old stuff. But don't blame anybody, because what happens is every other person says, "Oh, well, that guy will vote
Camden
for
at number 2. Camden at number 2
for international,
for Korean votes. I think there was a wave.
I thought Gavin was 2. Somebody else was 2. I thought
there was a wave of people. Supposedly, there was a rumor of saying, "Well, if we can't have only K group, we'll take Korean ethnically."
Yes.
So they're picking Camden.
I could see that, but who's making that decision?
They've turned their backs on Matthew because of melodrama that has nothing to do with him.
But who's making that decision? I don't think there's an organized effort.
I don't get it. I don't know. I think
there's 1 or 2 people buying bots and voting. That's all.
I don't know about that. But this is our top 9. This is who we want, not who we predict. And my top 9, as you see by the
Mine's
date
not
stamp,
in order, really.
none of these are in an order. Just whatever. But as you see by the date stamp, has not changed since the beginning of March. My top 9 has been the same.
The same? Oh, yep. That's cool.
Nothing's changed. This is my top 9. It's been my top 9. Yeah.
Okay,
but yours has changed, so you want to talk through?
So, Jay, vocals. Julian, dance, vocal, right? He's all-arounder, I think. He'll get better. Ricky, all-arounder. Matthew, all-arounder. So, then you've got Kata, who I actually think can sing a lot. Zhang Hao, singer. Tae-rae, singer. Sungin, singer. Park Hanbin, dancer.
Dance leader.
Maybe rap. So you've got, I wanted at least 4 or 5 G group. If I preferred 5 to be a more, just because I want to see that. It will never happen, but I wanted a vocal group, and those 4 were pretty much the best vocalists other than Wee. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't going to take Wee. Nothing wrong with Wee if he makes it cool, but we've talked about that. So with that, you've got basically all-arounders and people who are pretty good at a little bit of everything, with the concentration on dance, but also some rap, but more of a concentration on a vocal group. This is a concert. You can see everybody goes backstage, and the 4 vocalists or 5 vocalists come out and sing. You go backstage, the 3 rappers come out. You go backstage, the 4 dancers come out. You want an all-around group. People need to construct it like this in their head, because otherwise you're going to get just a typical kind of boring group that's not doing anything interesting, a lot of chanting. So I got vocalist. Technically,
the only difference between our 2 groups is I have sung Hanbin and Gunwook, and you have Park Hanbin and you've sung on.
Park Hanbin to me is kind of like, to remind me a bit of Gunwook with more experience. He's just overall better, like more rounded. Gunwook just doesn't have as much experience. Gunwook is more of as a dancer.
I think Gunwook has such a very specific vibe, whereas Park Hanbin is more of a chameleon. Like Gunwook. I
like Gunwook. I have 0 problem with him being in the group at all. I love Gunwook.
I think the program unfortunately put him into a very one-note situation. He was always doing similar types of songs.
But I think if you're a smart person and you think about it, like we think way too much about these shows, you know that he's developing.
Oh yeah.
So you have to be able to kind of project his future a bit. He seems like a nice kid. He hasn't, even though he played it cocky to being able to say, he's a little cocky. I even thought that he was a kid. So I knew he was just doing that protectively like you do when you're a kid. You have vocalists.
Oh, you have Ricky too. Wait, who's different than?
You have vocalist. Let's just say the main vocalist. 1, 2.
Oh, you didn't put Ji-woong in.
I didn't want Ji-woong.
Well, that's rude.
I don't dislike Ji-woong, but I gotta make room for it. We gotta have some singers. 1, 2 vocalists. 3, because Zhang Hao I'm counting as vocalist. He's not the most powerful, but he's good. So you have 3 main vocalists. Then you have rapper. Rap. So it's pretty balanced as well. I'm going more vocal heavy because I've been preaching that from the beginning. But then I started running out of vocalists. My dream was, of course, having at least Woongi in there, who wrote to Sungwon, whatever. What's his name? Woongi's friend.
So on.
I always say his name.
Oh, we didn't talk about the eliminated contestants. Is there any one thing you wanted to say?
Just
like we've said everything we do about all of them. We like a lot of them.
Of course.
Like I said, Woongi's speech really got me, but it showed a lot of maturity on his part, and that I do believe that, like, people are telling him to give up. He shouldn't give up. No, absolutely, he should not. But I think that there should be room for him in the entertainment industry somewhere. That doesn't have to only be an idol group.
I agree, and I'm not saying. I mean, that's what I would say as well.
Right.
But I also agree that there's like the acceptable. You're this way, Woongi. You're acceptable as long as you stay in your lane, Woongi, and don't try. And that's why he kind of alluded that a lot of people told me to stop or whatever. He maybe it's a translation or whatever, or maybe it was a bit of a code. He was probably saying, a lot of people were probably saying we have no room for people like you here.
Yeah.
And he, I'm sure, like all these guys, everybody, they get a couple hate comments, but he was getting specific ones, I guarantee it. Yeah. And he was getting specific people saying, even in a friendly way, look, you're good, but this is, come on, we're not gonna.
Even lately, you were seeing like, so on, and then like tell him to like.
Calm down.
Calm it down
a little bit.
But you know what I love about Woongi is that he never did, because he can't. That's just who he is, and you just gotta let them be.
To be fair,
let the boy be.
To be fair,
he's been like that since birth. I saw a clip. He was on some like TV show or talent show, TV show for children when he was like little bitty, like 4 maybe. Yeah. Singing and dancing to a girl group song.
Yeah.
He's been like this since he could speak and or walk. He was dancing to girl group songs.
You
cannot tell him to stop being who he is.
And I also didn't
he just can't. And
I
that's
didn't
awesome.
like how so many contestants that I will not name, when they were around him, would suddenly be a bit more Woongi-like, but then they were not. They, it's like, it just gets into something. Go listen to the Boys Love podcast. They did a lot better job of explaining it.
Well, they
but
can
to me, even in the U.S. of A., land of freedom and all that stuff, there is backlash to that. Here as well, it's pushing back, and it drives me insane. Was it unrealistic to think that he could be in this huge Mnet group and continue acting that way? If he made it by vote, sure, and I would love to see it, because I want to see him starting to challenge certain thought, but that's not easy to do for him to get hate mail, or to get people, even maybe somebody in the group or in the production company. It's like if you're 2 pounds overweight and they start screaming about that, imagine what they're going to do about him. Heck, didn't they already kick him out of a group?
Yep.
So I agree, his speech was very mature and all that stuff like that, but I knew behind in his eyes, it was just more like frustrating, like, how am I any different? I'm just a person. But they do have this way of like using him for all their funny clips. They love going to him when he's being sassy in the bedroom. But then, you're not going to be in the group, right? It was one of those moments. Like the show was like, wink, wink. He thinks he's going to be in the group, guys. Come on. We're not really going to put him in the group. It was that kind of thing. Haruto, same thing. He's not classic K-pop perfect.
Narrow beauty standard.
I didn't know what else more that guy could do.
Yeah, I know.
He spoke
Haruto's
English.
Amazing.
He spoke 3 languages. He could dance.
He's so amazing.
He was like Kwanri, and with the flexibility and stuff, he was that level of dancing and stuff, and yet he couldn't get past this kind of like. And again, I'm not blaming somebody for, if they don't find him cool, don't vote for him. That's cool.
He wasn't in my top 9. It doesn't mean I don't love him.
No,
I just love other people.
But I'm just saying that you see all these really interesting would-be idols almost make it the whole time, and they're just never arriving there or whatever. It doesn't make me feel bad for him. His life's not over, whatever. He can go on and do whatever. Heck, he'll probably be doing choreography for some of this group's music for all you know. So, and then the other one was, who was the other one that didn't make it? We had So On. Ollie didn't make it, which Ollie can go back and cook a little while longer. He's not ready. Stuff like that. Takoto, nowhere near ready. Stuff like that didn't bother me. But Woogie was the worst because it was just like, let's use him all the entire time.
But I said that from even before the show. I said, look, I'm keeping my eye on Woongi. He was one of my favorite member of TOO back in the day, TO1. But with everything that happened, I just felt like it just gives me bad vibes because it's the same company that's going to run this group is the same company who kicked him out of the other group. So I just never was going to fully let my hopes get up on that.
It's really weird. It's really weird. They love using them in clips. And then when it comes to the reality, they're like, no, thank you.
And that's it for the last Sunday recap for
I need a nap.
Boys Planet. We'll be back next Thursday on the day of the actual finale. We'll do a live reaction, just recording of audio. You can hear me losing my mind. And then we'll be posting that our final episode review on the day of.
What are we going to say? Or we have our group bingo card. We'll try to.
Yeah, our top 9 lists that we just shared, we're going to use a bingo card and then mark it off and see who wins.
How many do you think you'll get?
All except for 2.
Really? I think I'll get 3 maybe. Well, I don't know. I have to look at it again. Maybe 4 or 5.
So yeah, and then after that we'll be back for Queendom Puzzle. So that's gonna be fun.
Sounds like an app.
It does.
You get it alongside the Queendom show.
Okay, so everybody, let us know your top 9 in the comments. How are you doing?
If you do a realistic top 9, say it's realistic. If you do a fantasy one like fantasy football, say this is the one I want. Whichever one you want to do, we appreciate it either way because we meet lots of cool people in our comments and stuff. It's fun.
Okay. See you Thursday.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Vote for Kata and Jay.